Like it or not, Snoop Dogg is a walking legend. He dropped an album called Missionary with his day one collaborator, Dr. Dre, last year, and is loved by fans of all ages. With all the interactions he's had, both inside and outside the music, it's no surprise he's got a plethora of stories. While he is a few years shy of 60, and his recreational habits are well documented, he doesn't always get the details of these stories right. While this is laughed off in most moments, sometimes he gets called out for it by people that know better. We're taking a look at some of these moments in this video. Nas. It's been said, there's three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. Sometimes, when there's two parties involved, a third party can provide the truth, as long as there's no bias. However, sometimes this third party can get things wrong too, since the situation didn't involve them directly. That's what happened with Snoop telling the story of a meeting between Nas and Tupac during the height of the East Coast versus West Coast wars. Let's hear Snoop's conversation from when he was on Now What with Arian Foster first.
And Pac had seen Nas in the park, and him and Nas had words, but Nas didn't want none. But Nas had 100 with guns.
Right.
So listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
By me saying he didn't want none didn't mean he didn't punk out. It mean he just didn't want to
go there
all the way there, because we was in New York in Central Park with 100 goons from New York circle us. Pac didn't even see them. I did, because I got a gangbang mentality. I seen when start circling and putting their hands in their pockets while Pac is in his ear telling him, I made a song dissing you, Jay-Z, Biggie. And I ain't got no problem with you, Pac. All right, well, if you ain't got no problem with when this song come out, you better not say a motherfucking word. I love you, Pac. Shook the hand.
Damn. That's a real one.
That's why I love Nas to this.
That's a real one.
And Pac walked off. To me, he's like, yeah. And whooped her arm. All right.
You have no idea.
No. No clue.
That's insane.
It's the truth.
Right.
And these are certain things that I've been holding on to because they've never been asked.
Right.
But, you know, it's appropriate now to speak on it, because it's like this is the right time to say it so motherfuckers can know the intricacies of what that relationship was. You know, Pac was my friend before he got on Death Row Records.
Now, let's hear Nas's version when he was on Ebro in the Morning with additional context too.
I mean, we would see each other in passing, really, you know, and it was brotherly. It was brotherly. And I heard Snoop told the story a few times, but he had it wrong a little bit. He had said that Pac stepped to me, and rest in peace, Pac. But you know, he was in New York, and there was a lot of tension planned, right? And nobody was really there. And I think he had got into it with Jungle, my brother, at the award show. I seen him backstage. I'm like, do your thing. He's like, and you do yours. I said, see, I know it's some funny, you know what I'm saying? It was one of those like side out the neck story. Like, yeah, you do yours, my G. Yeah. He was about to go present an award, so he really couldn't turn around and get with me and talk to me, but because he's about to walk on. But I'm walking backstage and I see him and I'm like, yo, all right, do your thing. And he's like, and you do yours. Because he knew where I was coming from really wasn't an all love place, because there was a rumor of Machiavelli coming out. And so I was really want to check the temperature with him. And but it turned up. My brother and them, they seen them in Outlaws, and shout out to the Outlaws, man. And they had some words or whatever. So we went to damn, this is an old story, man. So at that point, it was necessary for us to address the situation, because they was in the city, and we had to step to our business.
And so there was a little bit of tension for real in real life. It wasn't just a rumor. It was like
a lot of tension. It was a lot of tension. They was in New York, and it was, you know, they was chest was out. They was doing their thing, Death Row side. So we had to go and step to them.
And was there a real conversation between you two that quelled it?
Oh yeah. We had a great convo, man. He was like, you know, he explained that he thought I was dissing him, and he thought, and I on the song The Message, you know what I'm saying? He thought I was dissing him, and I heard that he was dissing me at clubs. And
straight out of the gate, he thought the fake thugs, no love, right? The first line of The Message? Wow, I never even knew that was a thing.
Wow.
Last person I was even thinking about when I wrote that record. Just right, it was just going. You know what I'm saying? It was just going. Hey, just coming. So he thought that, and then I was like, well, I heard you was coming at me. I said, no, it was about you, but I heard you was coming at me. Back and forth, and it was like, yo, Nas, we brothers, man. We're not supposed to go through this. And I was like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so we had a plan to squash it in Vegas. So I was out there when he was in the hospital, praying for him to come through. And rest in peace to Pop. Yeah, that was a moment, man. Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
Thanks for sharing that.
We had to step to him for New York, because they was in the town. We couldn't let that happen. It was only right,
Lastly, let's hear from Napoleon, who was in Tupac's group Outlaws.
To be honest, bro, I don't recall Snoop being there. And the situation didn't go down nothing the way Snoop said it. Pac wasn't cursing out Nas. We gonna keep it 100. You know what I mean? Pac wasn't disrespecting Nas at all. I know Snoop said Pac punked Nas and then went to Snoop and said, you see how I got these New York dudes? None of that happened, bro. It was a mutual respect thing. We was deep with 30 Jersey dudes, 30, 40 dudes probably alone from my neighborhood. And then you got Gaddafi, Fatal, Noblehood. They was there deep. We were strapped up. You know what I mean? We in New York. You got to realize when you out of town, bro, you can never be more deeper than the people from their own state. But still, it was a mutual thing. Nobody was backing down. Nas was deep. He had all his homies there. We was deep. We also had dudes from LA, from Compton. Then we had armed security there. We was armed ourselves. You know what I mean? We were strapped up ourselves. But of course, when you in New York, Nas, I'm sure his boys are strapped up. So when Pac and Nas met each other, it was nobody talking disrespect from both sides. Maybe the people behind Nas and the people behind Pac was mean-mugging, saying certain things, but Pac and Nas handled it like real gentlemen, real, real respectful. It wasn't like Snoop said that Pac was like, to Nas, I do this and do. It was none of that. What Nas and Pac did that day, for dudes from the hood, they showed us that it can be done without going to, we come from the hood, we think everything should be settled with violence. You understand? So what Pac and Nas did that day, they was older than us. They showed us, look, bro, you don't always got to go to violence. We just handle it. They shook hands, hugged. So I think that was one of the most positive things that ever happened in hip hop. You know what I mean? It was beautiful, but it wasn't like Snoop said.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, man. So Snoop, he didn't see Tupac and Nas interact at all.
I don't remember Snoop being there. Definitely. I don't remember Snoop being there at all. Unless he was like in the cut somewhere, like, you know what I mean? When nobody saw him but him. But I don't remember him being there. And everything he said, it shows that he wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, once again, he's putting this, he's doing this agenda with making it seem like Pac is just this, like the stuff that he's saying would make you think like, did Pac even have a brain? You know what I mean? Like and it seemed like it's just a sly way to keep putting Pac down, because Pac, you know what I mean? Any interview he do, he probably thinking like nobody gonna come after me and correct me.
Looks like for this one, Snoop was in the wrong, and sensationalizing the story certainly painted a completely different picture than what really went down. Gene Deal. Gene Deal is someone you may have come across if you've ever gone down a rabbit hole of stories on YouTube about rap legends. With Gene being a former bodyguard for the Diddler, it's no surprise he's brushed shoulders with multiple rap legends. And because of this, he is able to speak on how many things went down and has shared his take on things Snoop has said. Let's once again start with Snoop's side of things and hear him talk about his interactions with Biggie while speaking with Fat Man Scoop, rest in peace.
Here's my question. Did you ever speak to Biggie after the day of that shoot?
I smoked to him twice. The first time was after Tupac died, and I was in Atlanta, and I seen Lil C's in the lobby at the Omni Hotel. And Lil C's, I met Lil C's at the show. We over a bowl of cereal. He became my nigga after that. We was always locked and loaded. So I see C's in the lobby. I say, C, what Biggie? I want to holler at him. He upstairs. He want to holler at you too. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna come upstairs and holler at him. We grab my weed, get my weed. C's take me upstairs. Biggie is upstairs in a walker, like what the old people walk around in. He got the little walker sitting at the edge of the bed. And when I walk in the room, we start talking. And then he looked me in my eyes and he say something that, you know what I'm saying, like he's sad that Tupac is dead, but I can look in his eyes and I can see that he hurt. He didn't even have to say it. I could see that he hurt behind Tupac being dead. This is not a man that's happy or glamorized. This is his friend that's dead, that they had a misunderstanding. He could never get no justice for his emotions, but he's showing me his emotions. And he explaining to me how much he loved Tupac, and I ain't tripping. And not once do we bring up the Brooklyn incident, because what's understood don't need to be talked about. But after we, but let me continue. After we break bread and smoke weed, I leave him with some weed, and I tell him I love him. And I'm like, I'm gonna give you my number. Holler at me whenever, whoop whoop. And when you on the West Coast, holler at me, and I'm gonna holler at you when I'm in New York. I go to New York probably about 3 months later. Biggie hit me up. Hey, come by the studio. We got 5 studios pop. Daddy's house. And I'm like, all right, I'm coming. I go to the studio. He got like 4 rooms. He got Easy Moby in a room, Premier in a room, and he got Stevie J in a room and some other motherfuckers in a room. And then he had one room with like about 30 motherfuckers in there, all army fatigues and beanies, and they smoking some bullshit ass weed. I come in with that thing that killed John Wayne. Yes, so seeing me. So I pulled my weed out and changed the temperature in the room. So Biggie at the board, he like, hey, check it out, hold on. Hey, Snoop, I want you to hear this. And the mother push play. And he play that song where it say, dreaming of Learjets, mansions, and coupes, and trying to sell records like Snoop. Oops. And the whole room was like, oh. It was like him letting me know in front of all his homeboys, I f with you, I love you, and I ain't gonna never have a problem with you. So from that day forward, me and his situation never was a situation to begin with, but we had that understanding that that's all in the game of war. You feel what I'm saying?
Now, let's hear from Gene Deal while he was on The Art of Dialogue, as he discusses what Snoop and Biggie's relationship was like overall from his perspective.
That's propaganda for the media, bro. That's something that sounds good for the media. I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that's showing love. I'm the one that's out here, when everybody else is dead, you know what I'm saying, wishing that I could have did something to put this together. But when you in fear for your life because you put your cover over your head with your fork in your hand because you wanted to, because you was riding on a plane with Pac, and if it was all that love, you wouldn't have to do that, right? Pac asked you was going to Vegas and the whole 9 yards, and he didn't say nothing to you, or he said some slick to you, or whatever, this, that, and that. It wasn't all that love until Pac was dead. Wasn't Big out at California 3-4 weeks, and Snoop never saw him? Snoop never came to smoke nothing with him. Snoop never came to eat nothing with him. But it was a whole lot of love. Come on, man. Just don't add up. Let's keep it a buck. Big got in that studio and said, I don't know why this Snoop's calling me. I'm not telling this where I'm at.
Looks like the two of them are referring to different points in time. But, of course, each one can only speak on what happened with them directly. Young Noble. Young Noble was also a member of the Tupac-founded group Outlaws. He just released a diss record for Nas titled Euthanasia that attacks him for, you guessed it, his version of the story about his meeting with Tupac. It seems everyone just has a different version of this story.
Like it's over the years, man, how that exchange, all these different stories. The truth is, Nas walked up. It was about 7 of them. It was about 30, 40 of us. He didn't skip a beat, man. He didn't get, he didn't tuck his head. He walked up. He wanted to talk to Pac. The truth was, it was as gangster as it get. He walked up and they had a conversation. Pac all sweating, telling him, yo, Nas was cool, like, yeah, da-da-da-da. And, the corny shit. What I don't like, afterwards, all the amazing, wild stories. Right. 20 years later, Everybody got a wild story what happened that night. Nick, you know, his brother Jungle, I'm about to shoot Tupac. He wouldn't have made it out the fucking park. I had heat. It was surrounded. There was nothing they could do. You know, anybody could be outnumbered. It's nothing special about that. You know, a couple of, you know, could go against a bunch of niggas for sure, right? But there was no win in this situation. You know, there wasn't no, you know, sort of amazing, wild stories that I done heard over these years. I'm gonna start with Snoop Dogg. Nothing but love for Snoop Dogg. He told a wild version. You know, I think like with Snoop, like when not Snoop, Kendrick, the joint he just dropped, he was saying to Snoop it, I hope it was the edibles. I hope it was the edibles when he said this one. Cause he had a wild version of the story, like Nas had Pac surrounded and all that. But I'm to Snoop defense, right? Snoop didn't come with Pac to this park. Snoop got there in his vehicle, his security, however he did. So I think all the niggas that we had with us, they was outside the venue, all our Jersey niggas. That niggas ain't come inside the motherfucking awards. They was outside waiting for us to come out. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe Snoop, he don't realize all these niggas is actually with Tupac. They're not with Nas. So to his defense, I'ma say that, you know what I mean? But what I don't told a wild version of the story. It was a long time ago when I saw what he said, but it was something like, Nas, he had Pac surrounded it. It was almost like Snoop version was like, you know, Pac, Nas could have snapped his finger and it was over for Pac. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, you know, in his mind, you know, he smoked a lot of weed. It was almost 30 fucking years ago. But Snoop's version for sure was by far the most off version. There was no truth at all to his version of the story.
Young Noble gave Snoop some grace for his recounting of the events, but the most glaring aspect of it all is that, according to him, Snoop wasn't even close enough to see what was being said. Reggie Wright Jr. Reggie Wright Jr. was the head of security at Death Row Records at the height of their notoriety. So it's safe to say he's seen multiple faces and interactions during his time there. With that being said, it's also safe to say he saw Snoop's interactions with various people all the time. He's another person who has recapped events Snoop has spoken on and has cleared up what really happened during them. Fast forward to now, and we're all aware to some degree of what Snoop has done with the Death Row label in recent years. Let's listen to him talking about it with Bootleg Kev in December 2024.
Fast forward, and I feel like you've taken that Death Row brand and like, it's everywhere, dude. Like, I feel like you slapped that motherfucker, like, you got that licensing going crazy.
But that's what you're supposed to do. Like, my thing was getting it, cleaning it up. I had to clean up the bullshit first because there was so much negative energy around it. People was afraid of what Suge was gonna think and how, you know, the industry would react to doing business with Death Row, considering knowing that this would be in the back trying to hate us, saying things negative. But I was like, I'm just gonna clean up all of this, give it a whole new approach, walk it out in a different light, and move with love as the purpose of Death Row Records, and connect the dots that they didn't do. Like, they didn't do none of the things that I'm doing with the label, and they had it way longer than me. I ain't had the label for 2 years, and I've done more things that's been done with this label in 30 years.
Now, here's Reggie Wright Jr. on the Bomb First YouTube channel, setting the record straight concerning Snoop and what he truly did for Death Row in recent years.
He built a store, nigga wood, got their own online stuff going on. Yeah, I bet one person in each one of y'all family has something on that says Death Row Records. Music-wise, y'all gonna let him say that? Y'all gonna agree and say that music-wise? He got a nice Death Row little Christmas song out right now, right? We're gonna compare that to Santa Claus, go straight through the ghetto. We're gonna complain that to that Christmas album? We're gonna do that? That was 30 years ago. Snoop did merchandise, but guess what? What Suge Knight did with the Death Row logo and all of that? He gave that shit away. Anybody who know when an album came out, he would flood the market with t-shirts, with Death Row merchandise and stuff, for free. for his street team stuff. He didn't say all that stuff. So we want to give him credit and we want to tap dance and say, oh, Snoop, you the greatest, man. You the greatest. But selling stuff versus giving away stuff.
Reggie agrees that Snoop has made the Death Row logo popular, but wants people to know that the logo itself is only popular because of the years of work Suge put into the strategic decisions about marketing and branding. Snoop the Snitch? Suge Knight is someone who needs no introduction, so we'll just get straight into it.
When you look at it and you think about it, you see that you watch the news, you follow the people's trials, people's court cases, or you follow what you hear, word of mouth, what you hear about the streets, about the guy getting 25 years because he had $2 piece of crack cocaine on him, or a guy got 10 years because he had a firearm on him. Then you get a guy for us, if it's not personal, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm slandering these guys' names, or if you hear about a lot of the artists, some of them used to be on Death Row, some on other labels, you might hear them getting caught with drugs, getting caught with a gun, stab somebody, do those type of crimes, they're not going to come to prison. One of the reasons they're not going to come to prison. Well, Snoop would never come. I mean, Snoop was on, we beat a murder trial for him, but then he was on probation. Then he got caught with 2 ounces of marijuana. Then he got caught with guns. And each time it's nothing. They're not going to violate him. Because for the street guys know what I'm talking about. There's no puzzle. I mean, if you get a guy that constantly getting in trouble and never going to come to prison, that's because he's an informant. He's a rat, a snitch. Yeah. And they're more important to the police on the streets than in here, because they let them know what's going on. They might save their soul by telling on 3 or 4 or 5 other guys. I'm from Compton, and a rat is the lowest you can go. A rat will do anything.
But you don't think Snoop was a rat?
I mean, I don't want to make Alice. I don't need to put nobody out there. Okay. If I do, that's like a form of telling. But for the street guys out there, they know. If you don't come to prison, there's only a few things, you got to be working with the police.
Now, here's Reggie Wright Jr. again, but this time he's also talking about Snoop directly.
But in 1998, he's trying to get Suge Knight incarcerated for murder. Not for no bullshit slap or something like that, okay? For murder. By making a statement of that. Just think if those cops would have, I don't know what they did. I don't know if they ever interviewed him behind that. But he told it to some sheriffs. Sheriffs send it to LAPD robbery homicide
Reggie,
division.
do you know what you're saying?
What I'm saying?
I'm just thinking about what you're saying. That Snoop, I wouldn't put that jacket on him.
He snitched. He snitched. That tried to say that Suge Knight is the one that murdered Tupac. He told the cops that.
Well, I mean,
told him that.
That's something totally different. I mean, if he
said it. It's in black and white in the police report, dog.
Okay, but apparently, no, I don't.
That's what got me pissed.
Is that the same police report that you put in your Bomb First video?
Correct.
Okay. Well, the subject is Calvin Brodus interview, which would be Snoop.
It would be Snoop.
And I guess everything that he was saying to the police.
Correct.
So basically, he went and sat down with the police, had some coffee.
You can read it.
At the
Go
police
to Bomb
station.
First.
Read it.
You can go to Bomb First.
Read
No,
it.
I'm asking you.
And the report
and
is
he
there.
sat down at the police station.
The atmosphere.
And
he got arrested. They arrested him
for something else.
For some marijuana. Him and Dad got arrested for possession of marijuana because they ran into the police with marijuana.
After Trey hit it.
Yeah. Because they were scared. They were scared. When you scared, you be like, I'll take this weed case, but these ain't gonna kill me. Other than showing you that these niggas are studio gangsters, because ain't no real gangster gonna do that. They gonna stand there and fight back. They're not gonna run. They said in the police report that they ran to the area where they knew the police was stationed. It's in the police report. So we ran to this area because we saw y'all earlier and we knew y'all was stationed over here.
Listen to this sentence from the police report, or whatever we're calling this document. It says, Mr. Brodus, a.k.a. Snoop Dogg, also said that he was upset that his bodyguards disappeared and did not assist him.
What matters with this is Snoop's persona would never paint him in the light of being an informant, and by corroborating different stories, people can draw their own conclusions. The pimp era. I'm sure we all remember when Snoop was in his pimp era. The suits, the hats, and of course, the hair were all parts of a complete look. We saw him do this during live performances, music videos, and movies too. But was he ever one for real? Naturally, according to him, there was a time when he was. He talked about this on Vlad TV during his Snoop Lion era. I'm sure we all remember that too.
In your movie, you mentioned the whole, how you actually got into pimping and stuff like that. And the one thing that I talked to Bishop was that, he said a lot of people thought that he pushed you into that, but in fact, he was saying how he told you to go back with your wife. Him, Minister Seymour, and a couple of other real pimps kept it 100. They didn't want that for me, but I wanted that. I was a kid, and I dreamed of being a pimp like my whole life. Like that was all I seen as a kid was a nigga with his nails done, and he had a light blue suit on with 7, and they all had on baby blue like him. He had a baby blue Cadillac. When he jump out, they open the door, they go set it up for him, bring him money. He ride up on us, call me to the car. What's up, Slim? Break me off a few dollars. Let me sit behind the wheel of his Cadillac, turn the steering wheel, put his hat on, and look up at him like, man, I want to be like him. You understand what I'm saying? So when I was finally able to do that, to really say, man, I'm finna really jump off into this pimping. He's really like me, and I really feel like I got the pimping in me. So with disrespect to my wife and my everything, I went on a pimping binge for about 2 years straight. Like for real. Real hoes, real pimping. But I fell in love with it. That's why I had to do a movie called Bossing Up. Because the first rule of pimping is, thou shalt not love a hoe. And I fell in love with a hoe, which was compelling because I wasn't the only pimp and I wasn't the last pimp to fall in love with a hoe. I was just the first pimp to tell a story of a pimp falling in love with a hoe. That's Bossing Up. It's in stores right now. You can go get.
Commentators on this clip have said the moment Snoop described was very similar to one from the movie The Mac.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, Keith? And can I get in, Bodie? Yeah, of course you can get in. Come on. Let's tell me what you gotta do, okay? Get up inside. Okay. You like that, huh? Yeah. Yeah, feels good, eh? Hey. Hold it be like you, Bodie. I told you about that. Yes. I don't want to ever hear you saying that again. I guess for the rest of it. You want to be my partner, I don't want to hear you say that. Okay, I mean, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can be anything you want to be, but I don't want to ever hear you saying you want to be like me, okay? And let me give you some of this money now, because I got to get ass in that. Cool thing. Go on. Get cool now. All right, be cool, baby. You been saying at school, huh? Yeah. Understand. Wrap it. Yeah, take it and give it to your sister, yeah? Okay.
Looks like Snoop took some creative licenses to tell his story again. Sure, something similar probably happened to him as a child, but he also described some specific details from that movie scene too. Next, in an interview on the Boss Talk 101 on YouTube, Minister Seymour told a story of how he steered Snoop away from the pimp persona.
Snoop Dogg was a gangster. He was running with us.
Kid.
He wanted to pimp. I said, Snoop Dogg, check this out. Let me pull you to the side, man. Snoop Dogg, you down his chair so we can pull him in. You not no pimp, man. You a gangster, Snoop Dogg. Yeah. You a gangster. One day, Snoop, man, he come there with a cape on at the player ball, which he bumped a few Bishop girls, you know, and took them home, man. And I said, hey, man, we just accept it as the game. Wow. But, you know, I told him, I said, Snoop, man, you're not no gangster, Jack, and you're not no pimp, man. He said, why not, man? He said, who said I wasn't? I said, man, I've been in this game a long time. Man, why would you wait till you get rich and leave your wife, man? Why would you leave her? Y'all got a lot of money together, but you got a beautiful wife, man, and beautiful family. Man, go back home to your wife, man. This game is not for everybody. This game is not for you, man. Bishop was a good thing that came into his life by talking to him, telling him, and saving him was a spiritual advisor when him and Suge Knight didn't see the eye to eye. I remember that. Bishop been standing there with him day one. And so if you hang around pimps or whoever you hang around, players or whatever, you're gonna pick up some ways. Watch who you have around your house. Babysitters or people come to your house around your grandbabies. You check. That's when we came up. My grandmama said, "Y'all go in another room." So Snoop just picked up some ways when we did the PIMP with 50 Cent. I remember. Man, we made them brothers. Snoop Dogg wanted to live that life, and we crowned him at the player ball. We crowned him. We crowned Ice-T. They got to come through famous players through Bishop Don Magic Warren if they want to be stamp certified, because he the president, I'm the vice president. So I respect him. With Snoop Dogg, I said, man, go home, man. Go home to your lovely wife. He went home. He said, man, thank you. So he just did a birthday party 2 years ago. I walk in, Snoop Dogg jumped off the stage and ran before I can get in here, in the door, and told his wife, he said, baby, this man here, because we've been together, made me come home. Minister Seymour made me come home to you. And she shook my hand. She said, thank you so much for making my husband come home.
Snoop's Crip credibility. If you're watching this video, you've likely seen Snoop Dogg Crip walking. More than once at that. Even people with no knowledge of gang culture know that he's associated with them, or one himself. But as with many popular mainstream rappers who have gang affiliation in their persona, there are skeptics to the legitimacy of it. Snoop has been talking about them since the early days of his career, but some people have their own opinions of his connection to them. First, let's look at him responding to anyone doubting his legitimacy.
My folks got at me and told me, they said, man, you've been really acting like Martin Luther King lately. We want to see Malcolm. So, Malcolm is here to address all of this negative energy that's going on. First of all you talking that shit about Snoop can't come to the hood, he can't do this. I can do whatever I like when I like. Second of all, you is 50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz? You mad at me, cuz? Because I won't help you no more? Because I can't do nothing to help you no more, because I'm focused on helping out the kids, putting football programs, doing positive things in the hood. You mad, cuz? You mad because I won't call you big homie? Because I'm 40-something years old and I refuse to call another nigga big homie that ain't got a job, that ain't got a car, but mad and jealous at me because of what I'm doing, trying to blemish my name and my character? Because I am the LBC. And me and my young homies, we got a great relationship. And furthermore, I just want to let y'all know that to get at a real man is a conversation, not be trying to Facebook bang and try to get injunctions and lawsuits or whatnot. So in a minute or two, me and you will be able to holler face to face like you really don't want. But you're going to get that. You're going to get that face to face with me, and I'm going to give you the intellect that you totally deserve, because you cannot disrespect a king. I'm the king of Long Beach. I made it fashionable for to bang the dub. I made it universal, motherfucker. I'm the that took the set around the whole globe. Yeah, that's me. That's who. But now I'm doing positive things now. I'm enlightening homies and showing them how to get it a different way. That's what real big homies do. I refuse to put a pistol or a sack in my little homie's hand. I put a mic in his hand, or an inbox, or a drum machine, or maybe a video camera. That's what I do. I enlighten my young homeboys, because I know the truth. And ain't none of you put me on the set, and ain't none of you motherfuckers gonna kick me off the set, mother. Yeah, Big Snoop Dogg. Don't get it fucked up.
Here's him talking about his past on Howard Stern in 2018.
Maybe the fast life has to do with, at 12 years old, you join a gang. And I think when you're exposed to that kind of lifestyle, it almost becomes inevitable that you're going to take a different path, right?
Yeah, but in the beginning, it's like the gang is not as violent as they became. The gang was just the gang of the homies. Like my friends, we just were a gang that was young and innocent and not knowing. And then as time went on, 13, 14, 15, the neighborhood received drugs and guns that were placed there for some apparent reason.
Right.
And then they got into the wrong hands. And then once they got into the wrong hands, things began to happen. And as you get older, you experience different things, and you're challenged with being, you know, someone who's scary or someone who's down. Somebody who's scary ain't gonna do no crimes and ain't gonna try to get involved, but somebody who's down gonna really be trying to impress a lot of people and doing things that are stupid because he's young. And I was in the middle of, you know, both. Sometimes I was scary, sometimes I was down, but I appreciate the fact that I had the opportunity to learn how to be who I am now. I was just hanging out, infatuated, looking at the older guys and seeing what they was doing and wanting to be a part of it, and they welcoming you in because you young. And then as you get older, it's like, okay, well, you really want to be in the game, you got to do something now. Now you got to prove yourself, and it's not a game no more. It's not a joke no more. It's not just, hey, we hanging out. No, we need to do something now. And now it becomes, are you going to be that scary guy or are you going to be that down guy? And if you're a part of a gang, you really don't want to be that scary guy. You have to either have fear or respect. And I didn't understand respect, so I feared everything. So I was basically moving and grooving, trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. A lot of times I got shot at. A lot of times I had a gun in my possession and could have shot back, but I was too scared to shoot back because I was so concerned with my life. It's either fight or flight. And most of the time when you're out there, it's flight. It's not about you. It's about you trying to impress them, as opposed to when you become a real man, if you're a part of a gang, you learn how to separate from the gang. You become an OG, and you start to educate. You start to teach the little homies on how to do better and not to do what you did. And that's the point and the part of my life that I'm at now, to where I become an OG, and I teach and I, you know, give them different routes and different avenues to travel down: football, rapping, entertainment, you know, things other than what we had.
Now, here's 600 Breezy, who spoke to DJ Vlad about Snoop's legitimacy in 2021.
And then from there, the MC8s came out, and then now, you know, then Snoop blew it completely out of the water. He became the biggest rapper in the world.
Biggest Crip rapper in the world still to this day.
Biggest Crip rapper. Yeah, I mean, really, you could argue that Snoop is the most recognizable rapper on earth right now.
Yeah. That's Uncle
You know what I'm
Snoop.
saying?
Everybody love him. Everybody love him.
And he, you know, you could drop him off in Bulgaria, and you know,
They gonna know Snoop Dogg.
Zimbabwe, you know, and he'll be wearing blue rags
because he a Crip,
repping Crips.
He a Crip. Like, no matter how old he is, I ain't saying he outside set tripping and doing dumb, but you know, you can't just drop your flag. You know what I'm saying? Like when you something like that, gotta hold on to it forever, because you might feel like you out the streets and you ain't got no enemies or whatever, but you see these that you've been beefing with before and they still on the same time, and now they about to kill you, and you oh man, what's up, man? I ain't know that. I'm a church. I go to church. Nobody care about that. You can't drop your flag. You gotta stick to, you know what I'm saying? Stick to what you know.
Obviously, Snoop is not currently actively participating in any gang activity, but those who were there back in the day know what did and didn't happen, and anyone on the outside simply is in no place to validate his past. At the end of the day, Snoop Dogg has many stories to tell, and that's what they are, stories. Sometimes details may be wrong. Sometimes he'll add or remove something to paint himself in the right light, to make the story more interesting. But that's how storytelling goes sometimes. We hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and if so, help us out by liking, sharing, and commenting. And make sure to check out these other videos popping up if you want to see more content from our channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, because we're dropping new stuff every week. Thanks for hanging out with us, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.